For those of you that are unaware of the term intergenerational trauma, here's a breakdown of it for you. Something that we don't understand until years later and when our children get older is that years and years of intergenerational trauma is something that's caused trauma to a family, which has not been addressed. It has not been dealt with, therefore then when we pass it down through the generations, it leads into the next one. Like my trauma, sexual abuse, I learnt later in life that one of the perpetrators had previously sexually abused all of the female siblings on my mother's side. Although our parents kept us as protected as they could, nothing can save you from these evil predators, and the integration pattern from the perpetrator came from all the siblings of this family for years. It only stopped when he died, and that was way too late. I identify this man as Z. He was not my first encounter of abuse, but this abuse overlapped multiple abuses until the age of 17. It was years before I was abused from the age of 7. This embossed behaviour that I learned to accept because I was unaware of being a child that this was unacceptable and inappropriate. I didn't learn this till years to come. The intergenerational trauma can include domestic violence, alcohol and drug addiction, child abuse, survivors of combat trauma and war-related trauma. Being a part of something also known as cultural confusion is a sense of discord, disharmony, confusion, or conflict experienced by people amid change in their cultural environment. The experiences I had growing up being culturally confused played a big part of my life. Being a child born in Australia, trying to evolve around the Muslim ways and how we participate in day-to-day life here was very tricky. Being dictated and referred and compared to by a man that had no skill or knowledge or growth of the Australian way or culture, this affected the way I watched my father treat my mum from the day they were married. My mum clearly married for love, my dad clearly tried, but not hard enough, as he got lost in the Aussie way, which paved a path for destruction for us, his children. Our lives were doomed even before we began. My dad is Muslim, my mother became Muslim when she married my father. My mum is currently still a practicing Muslim today, and she's the most beautiful person. Speaking of foreign language, Indonesians tend to seek friendships with people with the same background and culture, and learning English at school and speaking Bahasa Indonesia at home was very conflicting, especially as toddlers. Imagine trying to speak 2 different languages at once, and being a child is confusing enough. Whilst others would ride their bikes after school and congregate, I would have to dress up in my pure white prayer clothing, which almost resembled a vision of Casper the Ghost, and head over Trowell Road wearing it. Mind you, Trowell Road is a main road that takes you into the only shopping centre in Darwin.